Eastpointe City Council on Tuesday, October the 3rd at 6 p.m. Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico.
Here.
Councilmember Lucido.
Here.
Councilmember Kleinfeld.
Here.
Mayor Pixley.
Here. At this time, we ask for a hearing of the public, and what we're looking for are any neighbors that might be interested in any one of these cases today. And I don't see any of them. You're probably all directly related to one of these. Okay. All right, then we'll start with item 3, which is the show cause hearing regarding the Eastpointe hearing officer's order for demolition of the structure located at 23098 Beaconsfield. And the people involved in this are J.P. Morgan, Chase, and the occupants. And Mr. Albright will first give a summary of the case, and then we'll go to Ms. Van Haren, and then we'll come back to you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. This is a date and time set for a show cause hearing regarding the property located at 23098 Beaconsfield in the city of Eastpointe. I would like to have entered into the record several documents. The first is notice of this evening's proceedings prepared by the city attorney's office dated September 22nd, 2017, putting the owners on notice of this evening's proceedings. The next document is a memorandum prepared by city administration with a recommendation as to what should be done regarding the subject property, and that document is dated September 22nd, 2017. There is also the hearing transcripts from the dangerous building hearing, along with all of the related notices. Ms. Van Haren is present in the council chambers to answer any questions the council may have.
Thank you. Ms. Van Haren?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. As you know, a dangerous building hearing was held on this property on July 11th of 2017. The attorney for Trott and Trott appeared at the hearing and was aware that we were requesting inspection and verification and compliance with the violations set forth in the vacant structure inspection report of September of 2016. The hearing officer's report was issued on August 17th, 2017, and gave them 1 month to comply. At the time of this writing, they had failed to comply. On August 10th, our code enforcement officer was at the property performing a cleanup on the long grass and weeds and some debris on the property, and he indicated that he saw that the basement was filled with or had some standing water and mold in the basement. We've cut the grass multiple times in 2016 and 17. It's been a vacant structure since at least March of 2015 or longer. Because of the violations, including the basement walls and the structural deficiency, we request a demolition of the structures on the property and restoration of the land to its original condition. Additionally, the concrete in the driveway and just in front of the garage is sinking, and I think that's probably indicating some additional soil erosion in that area, which probably also was part of the problem with the basement walls failing.
All right. If you'd step up to the podium, please, and please state your name.
Good evening. I'm Christian Mellett from the law firm Orland's PC. We were retained by Chase to dispute the findings of the hearing as the show cause. This property demolition is not warranted here. It's actually a fairly handsome property. It's got good curb appeal. In fact, it was just recently under contract for sale for a buyer to flip. That fell through last week, but the real estate agent is here, and there are actually 2 pending offers right now on the table that they're trying to decide whether or not to take. Chase assumed ownership here via sheriff's deed back in September of 2016. The issue here was the basement cracks and security of the building. The security of the building, I believe, it has been rectified in a complete way. It was originally inspected for their BPO back in August, as well as been inspected by Mr. Bill Adams, who is the real estate agent here that's listed the property in early September, and again as of last week. And I believe all the issues concerning the security of the building have been taken care of. All the broken windows and doors have been secured. The garage door is down and has been, I'm not sure it's been fixed per se completely, but it has been secured, and he could, if you need to speak to that, he can do that. With that said, the issue here, the main issue, there are some basement cracks, but there are no, as far as I know, there is no mold issue in the property, and I've got some photographs to show that if you'd like.
Please.
May I approach?
You can bring them forward and start with Michael over here on the left.
Okay. I'll give you a couple things here. Here's the pictures from Mr. Adams took on August 17th. 2017. It does show there is some basement cracking, but there is no mold anywhere that's present as far as we can see. Here is the residential.
Madam Mayor, could we
Yes.
have council speak at the podium, just so we can take down everything that's being said?
If you could
Thank
just put the pictures there and then refer to them when you speak.
Okay.
If you're able to.
There's the BPO from Chase, I believe it's dated August 23rd. There is the inspection report connected by Mr. Adams of Adams Realty on September 1st. And again, he just did one again on September 20, last Wednesday, September 27th, I believe it is. And there's been a change in the property manager. I believe that REO Experts has taken over the property management, and since it's been taken over, I believe that was in August. The property, the exterior has been taken care of. It's being mowed on a regular basis and basically prepped for this to go on the REO market. In fact, it did invoke a actual purchase agreement, which was supposed to close, and then it actually fell through. But there's 2 new offers on the table, and Mr. Adams says that he expects it to be a signed contract within probably early next week. So it's priced at a level in order to induce property owners, people that flip properties, to come in, make the repairs, and put it on the open market so it's livable for the community. So the key here, Your Honor, I'm sorry to call you guys, Your Honor, the panel here, the demolition is not warranted. The property's in fairly good condition, and the exterior is being maintained. Condition is considered, the cracks in the basement do need to be repaired. However, I don't believe its conditions are somewhat normal for ages of the homes of this age in this neighborhood. The key thing is all problems here are fixable. The new property manager were assigned the property in August. There's no mold in the basement. They have not found any mold in the basement. There's no remediation necessary. The rest of the property has been secured. We've been in contact with the city and the city attorney trying to find out what the repairs were. It's my understanding that there are some other issues here that are at stake, namely that in the compliance letter they indicated there's some concrete issues, but the concrete issues for the driveway weren't part of the original inspection. With that said, that we believe the new owners will fix the concrete and driveway issues. The plan is to sell the house to the buyers on a hold harmless basis. There's significant interest, so we're just basically asking for time. We believe 90 days, the property will be hopefully inhabited, but even more so. It should be under contract within anywhere from a week to 2 weeks, and when that happens, it'll come in, and the new people will come in and fix the property. So we're asking for time. This house is too nice to demo. We understand there are some problems to the house, and we understand that there's been some time has passed since the problems have been brought to Chase's attention. With that said, this one should be sold, and this one should be fixed. It's not going to do anybody good to have a vacant house in this neighborhood. I mean, when I say a vacant lot, a demo is not warranted here. We ask for you to just give us a little bit of time. And Mr. Adams is here to answer any questions if you need him to.
This doesn't even look like the same house. When you compare this,
I think they might be comparables, maybe. Oh, no, this is the same one.
They have been maintaining the grass. I mean, recently, within the last 30 days. Prior to the last 30 days, the grass has not been maintained except for by the city. But in the last 30 days, it's been being,
have they gone in and done all that landscaping? Because when you look at this picture and you look at that picture, looks like a completely different house.
I think they just actually cleaned up the landscaping. They didn't actually put any new landscaping in.
So they had all those paver blocks and everything there?
I believe they were there, just couldn't see them before because they were overgrown with weeds.
My understanding they're routinely doing
Please speak into the microphone.
It's my understanding that since the new property management company took over, I believe it was in August, they're routinely coming every week or every 2 weeks to maintain the property. They did, I don't think anything was planted, but it has been shaped and now maintained to a level. It's a very handsome house, actually, from the exterior, and it would be a shame if it ordered to be demoed.
So what kind of things have you done to the basement wall regarding those cracks?
Okay, well, the basement wall, if you look at the photo, it was stabilized at one point. There's I-beams in there. There's more work that needs to be done. The reality is that that back wall is probably going to have to be rebuilt or pulled in more, and then the back, there's going to need to be masonry work done there to rectify.
Are you going to sell it as is?
Well, we're selling it as is. We had 3 offers on the property last week. We issued a contract to the highest and best offer that we had. Unfortunately, that buyer walked away. So we've gone back to the other 2 offers, and we've also put it back active on the market. There's been a tremendous amount of activity on that property. I have one that I'm in the process of listing down the street, approximately a block and a half south of this, and that's in the 120s. At this time, we've got this on the market for $69,300, and we're getting a ton of showings.
Would that wall be fixed if it's not sold in 90 days, the 90 days you were talking about?
That's up to Chase. I would be shocked if we're not sold and closed in the next 30 days. We plan on including the city violations. We received those violations, and we attached them to the last contract, so the buyer would be cognizant of what the city's looking for to have be done. To make that mortgageable, somebody's got to fix that wall. No bank is going to come in and make another loan there. It is stable from the standpoint of those beams are there, but that job probably isn't maybe as good as it could have been, but I don't think it's moving anywhere right now. It's just not cosmetically on the exterior, not as nice as it could be, and it will be once it's done.
I think I had 2 questions for Mary then. Mary, actually. Yes. How did we know there was water and mold in the basement?
Quite honestly, I don't know that he wouldn't have gone into the house for any reason, so I don't know that, other than he was at the property performing a cleanup on the long grass and weeds and said that he saw that. So whether there was a window open, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because a code enforcement would not go in the house.
And then my other comment, I think I noticed, I think you're right, sir, Mr. Adams, right?
Yes, sir.
Because our 2009, on BSNA, the photo's 2009, and it looks like the driveway looks the same as it does now, so I think it's been like that for a while. I don't think that's new or anything, so I think
I've got additional photos that we took on August the 17th.
Sure, I just drove by it on the way to the meeting, so.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Anybody
looks the
else wanna
same
see
as the
these?
photo from 2009, I think. So I don't think it's gotten worse, I should say.
And I did find the picture with the pavers that match his new landscaping, so they were always there. They were just hidden by the tall grass.
Right, yeah. 'Cause they were so
Just looked like a different landscaping
Well, it's
completely.
up for sale right now.
By cleaning it up, what a difference it makes.
It's got a for sale sign in the driveway, in the front lawn, and it looks like it's, from outside, it's got some good curb appeal, and it'll make a nice home.
So, Ms. Van Heeren, what's your recommendation?
Well, I guess from the city's perspective, we'd certainly like to see it certified as a vacant structure, and that's what we've been trying to do for over a year now, and we'd like that taken care of. However, if it's, occupied before a certain date, then that's certainly fine too, but it will have to have these corrections made to the property and inspected by the city.
To become certified.
That's right. So whether it's this owner or another owner, we're still looking at getting it certified as a vacant structure in a certain period of time, whatever city council would deem appropriate, rather than having it go on for, another year or so. So the new owners buy it, and if they don't get on it quickly, then we're still stuck with a structure that's not certified as a vacant property with these violations.
Madam Mayor, Councilor, are the taxes current with this property?
I believe they are, but I'm not sure. I can't speak to that one way or the other. It wasn't brought to my attention.
Thank you.
Do you have a
I
suggestion?
do know before we market them, they pulled title, and there's been no notices of any delinquent taxes posted on that property at all.
Any further questions from council? Certainly looks like it's been cleaned up inside.
That's actually the first day I was there. It's actually better than that now. But the first floor is in great shape. The work's going to be in the basement. But nobody's going to be able to buy that property and not put money into it. and I'm not trying to be argumentative at all, but most people who are going to buy that property, they're going to want to resell it, and the only way they're going to do that is to be able to address the basement.
Well, I agree with Mary's concern, selling it and then having someone who's not going to certify it. So I guess the question is just what timeline we want to put on it. I would say, what does council think about saying it must be certified as a vacant structure within 30 days? Unless it's sold, then the new owner will have 60 days.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
60 altogether, or would that be 90 altogether?
If it's 30 days, if it's not sold, if it's sold, we'd go to 60 days.
60 days from, I guess, the date of purchase is what I,
As long as the new or prospective owner realizes that we really do mean business with this house because of the
We
basement.
understand with the city's point of view here is, I think 60 days for a new owner to fix that problem may be a little ambitious, so I would ask for 90.
Well, let's see what they say, and then they can always come back and talk to the building department, if they can come up with a plan.
yeah, my motion was just to certify it as a vacant structure. They can do that before fixing the wall, can't they?
No, so that's part of what the repairs are required to certify it.
I would say that if you get a prospective buyer and the person purchases the property, that they need to make connection with their building director here, so they understand what they're purchasing and what their steps would have to be.
I just think even 30 days to get it certified as a vacant building is probably ambitious
But
and
if you're
chance
gonna
of
be
getting done.
selling it in the next 30 days,
Well, we're hoping it will close in 30 days. It's not even under contract yet, but it looks like it's going to happen within imminent. In fact, there might be under contract by the end of the day today. So I would say that, a more reasonable approach might be wiser to say, like, have it certified within 45 days, and that way they at least in be in contact with the city with regards to the progress being made to fix the main structural problem with the wall.
I'd be happy to keep the city posted on where we're at on a purchase. My only fear is, in being looking at it from a practical perspective, is that if we put this under contract and we generate contracts and the people come in and they do their private home inspection, they say, wait a minute, we don't want to go through with this, then we may have to go on to buyer C or buyer D. And to have 45 days to do that and close, I think it would be more fair to the owner of the property right now. And I think in the long haul, getting this done, getting it rehabbed, and keeping it on the tax roll, if that becomes a vacant structure, there's probably not going to be a house built back there at any time soon. So
Why don't we just do 60 or 90 altogether, no matter who owns it from now, and at least you could, as long as they're showing progress, like they have someone set up to do something, at least so we're seeing that something will be done soon enough.
the key is
maybe
to
the-
be in contact with the city.
I'd be glad.
And the key is to not ignore the notices that come across. So, and I understand you're the new people on the block, but you can understand our position too, because you don't want a house falling down in a really good neighborhood like that.
So neither of us were here
I understand that.
when it
That's-
started off. But, I have done a number of these with the city, and I have no problem keeping the city posted as to where we're at on a sale.
And that's where we're coming from. So, Mr. Kleinfeld, do you want to redo your motion?
Well, if Cardy wants to make,
Cardy, you want to make a
it
motion?
sounded like he had an idea of what he wanted to do.
Are you going to give them 60 days? Is that what you said?
Right, 60 either way, so if they sell it in a week, they'd have, the new owners would have till the end of that 60 days to show they're making progress on fixing it.
Are you doing
You know.
60 days and it comes back to us, or they just have to meet with Mary?
Yeah, I think it just come back to us.
I would like to
Think
say
so.
within 60 days to go back to the building department. And then she can decide whether it comes back to us.
Sure,
Okay,
okay.
that sounds good.
Is that all
Okay.
right?
Sure. All right, then a motion for 23098 Beacons Field, that we give them 60 days or the new owner 60 days from now to show that they are making progress on making this a certified vacant property. At the end of that 60 days, Ms. Van Haren can make the determination if it comes back in front of us.
Support.
Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
Councilmember Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes. Thank you for coming forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next item regards the Eastpointe hearing officer's order for demolition of a structure located at 24850 Brittany. Two owners is Leon Goller, and the occupants. Mr. Albright?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Richard Albright appearing on behalf of the City of Eastpointe. This is the date and time set for a show cause hearing regarding the property located at 24850 Brittany in the City of Eastpointe. I'd like to have entered into the record several documents, the first being a notice of this evening's proceedings prepared by the City Attorney's Office dated September 22nd, 2017. Also a memorandum prepared by City Administration with a recommendation from Ms. Van Haren. That memorandum is dated September 22nd, 2017. And also, that recommendation also contains a photo of the subject property. I'd also have to ask that notices of the prior hearings and the report and order of the hearing officer, along with the transcript from the dangerous building hearing, be entered into the record for consideration this evening. Ms. Van Haren is present in the council chambers to answer any questions that the council may have.
Ms. Van Haren?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. This property had a dangerous building hearing on July 13th, 2017. The damage done to the property was as a result of a house fire on January 1st of this year. I performed an inspection myself on the interior of the structure on March 10th and discussed with the property owner at that time that I believe that the house should be demolished because of the extent of the damage from the fire, as well as the fact that it's a legal non-conforming structure. And the damage was, appeared to be more in excess of 50% of the value. This is a house that's set way far back on the property line, and that's why it would be considered a legal non-conforming structure. It doesn't have the required rear yard setback on the property. It's almost right to the property line in the rear. The property owner is not objecting to the demolition. He just has not done it himself. He recognizes that we're holding a fire withholding check from the insurance company in the amount of $12,262. I believe at one point he was going to look into doing it himself because he thought he might get it done for less than that and get some of that money rebated to him, but he has not taken the action. He called me today and asked, what was going on, and I explained to him the hearing tonight and what my intention was to ask for the city council to order demolition, and he just said, okay, wanted to know what was going on. So that is our request, that city council order demolition of the structure and restore the property to its natural condition. We'll use the fire withholding check to pay for that expense.
Ms. Van Haren, where was the fire in the house?
It was back in a laundry room and next to the bedroom. There was damage in the bedroom. Actually, it was odd because it was hard to walk through the house. Even it had so much fire damage and junk in it. But it was in the laundry area and maybe part of the basement. I didn't pay enough attention to see where I thought that the actual fire originated from. I just noticed that fire damage throughout. And in fact, it's such an odd little house that the basement, and you got to the basement through the bedroom. And so the basement stairs were off of the only one bedroom in the house. And that was all fire damaged.
Those were some of the early houses that were built back in the 1915, 1920 era.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I think was built 1927,
Oh, boy,
Boy, it wasn't
okay.
too far off.
according to BSNA. Yeah, that's a good guess.
Some of those were called garage houses. That's why, and those were fruit cellars that were built underneath the houses.
Oh, okay.
And they put the gardens in the
I didn't go down the basement to explore further. It didn't look safe.
All right, so the owner is not here tonight?
The owner is not.
All right, council.
Well, I think this one's easy.
Yeah.
A motion to immediately demolish 24850 Brittany and use the $12,262 check that we have waiting for it.
Support.
Move in support, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
And no one is living in that house, right?
That's correct.
All right, item 5 is continuation of the show cause hearing regarding Eastpointe hearing officer's order for demolition of a structure located at 22067 Gascony. Justine Stevenson, Jay Folsky, occupants, and the Seaway Community Bank. Mr. Albright?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Richard Albright appear on behalf of the City of Eastpointe. This is the date and time set for a continued show cause hearing regarding the property located at 22067 Gascony. I'd like to have entered into the record several documents, the first being a notice of this evening's proceedings dated September 22nd, 2017. Also, a recommendation from City Council dated September 22nd, 2017. Also included within that batch of documents is a rental inspection and a notice of prior hearings along with the prior transcripts and the report and order of the hearing officer. I do note that Mr. Folsky is in the council chambers this evening. Ms. Van Haren is also present to answer any questions that the council may have regarding the condition of the property and city administration's recommendation.
Ms. Van Haren?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. This dangerous building process has been going on, and the original hearing was held in September of 2015. We've had 3 show cause hearings on this property in September of 16, October of 16, and April of 17. During that process, the property has changed ownership from Jay Folsky to Justice Chloe Stevenson, and that was on June 30th of 2016. The property has been vacant since May of 2017. There have been several issues at the property. There was a police report in July of this year for squatters in the home. A copy of that is attached. Grass and weeds were not being maintained throughout the season. We did obtain a search and conducted, we obtained an administrative search warrant and conducted a search on January of 2017 and attached as a violation notice with a long list of violations on the property. At the time we conducted the search, a woman named Kiana contacted me and said that she and Charmaine were the tenants and that they were renting the property from Jay Folsky. She said Justice does not reside in the home. She said there's no heat and that the electric service was turned on illegally. She said Justice left town because of the bench warrant that was issued. We issued a ticket for failing to register the rental property, and she did not appear in court. At this time, we recommend that City Council order demolition of the structure and restoration of the property to its original condition.
I guess I'm a little bit confused. What was the bench warrant issued for?
Because we issued her a ticket for failing to register the property as a rental property. She didn't appear at the court for that ticket, and that's why the bench warrant was issued.
Okay, and did Justice Chloe Stevenson buy the house from Mr. Folsky on a land contract? Does anyone know?
I believe it was on land contract, but at the time that she was issued the ticket, she's showing as owner of the property, and we knew she didn't reside there because of our communication with the tenants, and that's why we were pursuing it as a rental property.
And the squatters that were arrested had nothing to do with either party, is that correct?
I don't know at all about that. I just have no knowledge of that at all, about the squatters.
Okay. And you are?
Jay Folsky.
Okay. Do you want to tell your story?
Basically, yeah, because how it works in Eastpointe is I sell a house to somebody, they save up their money, they buy the house. Within a week of moving in, the city comes out and tags it that it's going to be demolished. Even though it's not a rental, just like this house was not a rental. They tagged the house when it was vacant for sale. When I sold the house, the tenant starts getting harangued and harassed, package slapped to the door. The people contacted me and said, well, we just bought this house, we gave you our down payment, what's going on here? I said, don't worry, it'll get worked out. Turned all the paperwork in, the affidavit, the property transfer affidavit, everything. City council, the city has harassed her, tried to put her in jail for buying a house in Eastpointe. I've got 10 other people, the same thing happened. They buy a house, immediately start getting harassed. Knocks on the door, do you live here, or this person? Half of them don't want to answer questions, then they get a ticket. to show up, to prove that they bought a house, even though they turned in all their paperwork. And then their dad gets some stuff because they have the same name. That guy gets arrested because his big kid bought a house. And then someone else doesn't change their address, so now he gets arrested. Oh, because they sent it to some Clinton Township where he lived 2 years ago. Not where he lives now, not where he resides, not where he has DTE, Semco, whatever gas company his name. He's paying the water bill, but just because they want to get harassed and harassed and harassed.
Your Honor, or Madam Mayor, I would add that Mr. Folsky has a pending civil action against the city. I don't see how these representations, these statements that he is making is relevant to these proceedings. And I think that Mr. Folsky should limit his comments to this particular property.
Okay, well, this is what, on this property, it was tagged when it was for sale. Nobody was living there. It was not a rental. So these proceedings should have never started. I've come here 5 times and said the exact same thing over and over. Then someone buys it, Mrs. Justice buys it, she starts getting harassed. And then someone goes to the house, these people do not rent for me. Produce one person, an affidavit or one payment slip that they paid me. Never was a rental at any time. It was a residential home that was purchased by Mrs. Stevenson.
So, Mr. Folsky, I have just a couple questions.
Sure.
The first dangerous building hearing was while you owned it, correct? On September 22nd, 1915. I mean,
Correct.
2015. And you didn't sell the property to Justice Chloe until almost a year later, June 30th, 2016.
Yeah, I took it out of a rental.
So
and
what did you do to correct the hearing problems between September 15 and,
Nothing, because those are rental inspections.
but
It's not a rental, so there's no rental inspection needed.
you sold a house where there's no heat, no water?
There was heat and water on when the people moved in.
And then if, Mr. Folsky, if you haven't owned it for over a year now, why are you here? about
Because
the
I hold the
property?
contract on it, and it's getting foreclosed, so I can get it back.
Why is Miss Stevenson not here?
Probably because she didn't want to get arrested. Same reason she didn't show up the last 4 times. Because there's a warrant out for her now by the city of Eastpointe, and they probably doesn't want to show up here. And she told me that she's not going to get arrested for buying a house, and she's leaving the state. That's the last time I talked to her, or she texted me. And my attorney's been here over and over, says the same thing. It was never a rental. It should have never been violated under this dating. The only thing on your dating order is that it does not conform because it's a rental, not registered. But it wasn't a rental, so that should have been thrown out at the first hearing.
Well, so is it
Not
not a
here.
rental right now then?
No, it's not a rental. It's in her name. An individual purchased a property.
So is no one living there right now then?
As far as I know, they're not.
But some of these things to fix are so easy. Why weren't they fixed?
But, ma'am, this is a bigger thing. This is not a rental.
I understand.
I have no rentals in this city anymore. They're all sold or for sale. But the city came out to this woman's house after buying the American dream and putting her hard-earned money down and started threatening to bulldoze it.
Madam Mayor, these are arguments that should have been raised during the dangerous building hearing. This is essentially is an opportunity for the property owner or an interested person to say that, or to give a reason why the hearing officer's report and order has not been complied with, okay? Again, these are all issues that should have been raised at the dangerous building hearing. The hearing officer issued a report and order saying what should be done and the time frame for doing that. And so the only issue before this body this evening is to give a reason why those particular requirements that were set forth by the hearing officer have not been complied with. But this is not an opportunity to relitigate those issues before this body. That should have been done before the hearing officer prior to him making or her making a decision.
And Mr. Folsky, I think the mayor's made a very good point. You own the house for a considerable amount of time and didn't resolve any of these issues, and now it's just owned by someone else and all these issues.
But I think what Mr.
still
Polsky
exist.
is saying is that initially, he was made to conform with the rental inspection, but he sold a house. But still, these violations related to the property still consist. But the property's been sold, it's no longer rented.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not, I'm just saying that it was, at the hearing, it should never have went forward. I made the same argument then. And just because the hearing already passes it on, rubber stamps it.
So is it,
I don't understand why this Justice Chloe didn't come forward and talk to the building department and tell her, I bought the house, I'm gonna be living in the house. It's not gonna be a rental.
Right, because she has a warrant out for it now from the city.
She didn't show up.
Correct, but why would she have to? When she turned in a principal residence exemption, which is perjury under the law to fill out, and she filled all the paperwork, she signs the land contract, I have provided the city with the full land contract, with the principal residence, at that point, it stops. I mean, my lawyers made this argument a year ago saying that this house is sold, anything found under the rental is out the window. It's no longer a rental.
so then at least I think if she's not living there, it needs to be certified as a vacant property now then?
If I could, at the time that I conducted the search, it was because the tenants told me they were tenants of Jay Folsky's, they were paying him the rent.
Right.
That Ms. Stevenson did not reside in the house,
Yeah, something.
and that they were the ones complaining, calling us and complaining that they had no heat.
So
So what is? what is
They're
it?
not renters. They never rented from me. They don't have a lease. They've never made a payment to me. This lady shows up at your door from the city, is like, why are you living here? They're gonna give you a story. They're not gonna, I mean, they're not gonna say, show me one lease, show me one payment they made. Anything, a text, anything saying that they rented. It never happened. It was sold, I mean, maybe Mrs. Stevens subleased to them, leased to them, whatever. That's not nothing to do with me. But as far as when she was living there, when I picked up my mortgage payment, she was there with her family, every time.
That search you're referring to, Mary, that was on the 18th, January?
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I can't remember if you said, do you know if anyone's living there right now?
I don't know right now.
And since September of 2015, it hasn't been registered as a rental or vacant, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do you know if anyone's residing in it right now?
I do not. I've had a lawn service go by there every couple weeks to check on it until we can get it, back in my own ownership and I can repair it and sell it again. Unfortunately, this is happening a lot because the same thing happens with every single person I sell to.
Mrs. Van Haren, do you know the last time the grass was cut by the city at that property?
I did not make a record of that. I don't know.
I have not received a bill for that property. I think only one, since I started this new service this year, I believe I've only had one property that was tagged. Because I have the guy go by every couple weeks and check on them to make sure they're cut. So hopefully it's not getting a $115 bill.
Mr. Albright, do you have any suggestions? You want to check on the ownership of the property?
Well, Madam Mayor, the burden would be on either the owner or an interested party to give a reason why the hearing officer's report and order has not been complied with. Now, the owner or interested party could bring forth, for instance, this evening, a copy of a land contract, a copy of a deed showing that it's been transferred out of his name or her name, a documentary proof indicating or given a reason why the hearing officer's report and order has not been complied with. I don't believe Mr. Folsky, and I know that he has he's relied on past statements of his attorney, but counsel is not here this evening to support any of those arguments. And so I suppose that the council could table this matter for a period of time to allow either the owner or the interested party to bring that evidence forward. But this matter has been adjourned several times. In fact, I was this matter was initially on the docket to be heard as a show cause hearing back in September of this year. And Mr. Folsky's attorneys contacted me and requested an adjournment. And after speaking with Ms. Van Haren, we did extend that professional courtesy under the circumstances. But again, we haven't been provided any proof that this is or is not a rental property, or if it's being sold on land contract. We just don't have anything like that. And I don't believe, Ms. Van Haren, anything has been provided to your office?
No.
Okay, so
That's completely false.
So again,
You've got a copy of the land contract, you've got the principal resident exemption, you've got all the paperwork, and you've had it for over a year, almost 2 years now, a year? Whatever it was.
So again, Madam Mayor, the council could order that the hearing officer's report and order be complied with within a certain period of time, or the council could adjourn this or table the matter once again to allow either the interested parties or the owner to provide evidence as to why the report and order of the hearing officer does not need to be complied with under the circumstances.
In the meantime, he could also bring any documents that he says that he has given to Ms. Van Haren. He could bring a duplicate copy of those.
I would encourage Mr. Folsky to provide that documentation as soon as possible to Ms. Van Haren.
I have one question. Mr. Folsky, you said you were in the process of getting the property back. It was in foreclosure?
Correct.
How long ago did you start those proceedings?
I gave this stuff to the attorney about 3 months ago.
3 months ago?
Yeah, I don't know where it's at in the process. I know we got like 3 other ones now that he's working on. Same situation on all of them.
And how long do you believe that it would take approximately, because your attorney's not present, to finish with the foreclosure proceedings?
I would say it's gonna be at least 4 months, because they got 90 days even after the court date, and as long as it's not adjourned or, whatever, that it's gonna be at least 90 days after that they have to redeem it.
Rich, I'm sorry, what was the date? Is this from the report and order way back in 2015? Is it the same one we're relying on? We just tabled over and over again?
Yes. Then that report and order is included with, as one of the exhibits made part of the record.
Stand. Ah, I found it. Sorry. I was digging for it because there's a lot of,
There are a lot of
Transcripts.
documents for this property.
Councilman Kleinfeld, were you suggesting we update, we take another look at the property?
no. My opinion is we've kicked this down the field too far already. When the report and order is back from 2015, I understand that you may have sold the property and, whatever you wanted to do regarding that is fine. But when you sold it, it shouldn't have come as a shock to the new owner that there was an issue and there was an order out to bring it into compliance or for demolition. I don't have a desire to table this. I think that given that we're not sure if it's being rented or if it might be vacant, I'm going to go ahead and, since I have the floor, make a motion right now. If the property is not registered or registered as vacant or as a rental within 45 days, that the city begin demolition proceedings. And that's where I am on this property.
Could I just ask a question? To register it or certify it as such?
Certify, I
Thank-
apologize.
Thank you.
I'll support that.
So what about the third option that'll come up, it's owned and it's not vacant?
I would
As-
have to add something that if he could submit the papers that say that he has sold the property.
If he has sold the property, there's a new owner. And we've done
We've gone
much more than our due diligence to notify the new owner. If the new owner's not showing up to say, I bought the property, I don't feel that our hands, I don't feel any obligation to keep trying to hunt someone down who doesn't seem to have any interest in the property. If the new owner doesn't care if it's demolished or not, they've been notified and they're aware of the proceedings.
Also, he said that it was gonna be like 4 months before he even had legal ownership of the property again anyways. So this is actually, he can't resell it right away
He
anyways
really
right now.
can't, does he have any responsibility if he's already sold the property?
Well, no, but we're demolishing it.
Just because he's on a land contract, he still maintains responsibility.
Right. Justine Stevenson would be responsible to pay Jay Favolsky.
Madam Mayor, I really can't comment on that, only because with this particular piece of property, I don't know who the true owner is.
Okay.
I really don't.
I would like to go further and say, like I've already said, we've done everything we can to notify the owners. If there is some issue with
Property ownership.
Justine Stevenson not, fulfilling her duties, there might be some sort of contract issue between her and Mr. Volsky, but it's our job as a city to take care of the properties within our borders when there's been an issue like this. So, and it's been since 2015. I think 45 days is generous because I could just as easily make a motion to proceed with demolition immediately, so.
Madam
So-
Mayor, all the
Wait, does
notice.
Cardy have any more questions?
I was just going to say, I'm fine with that. I just was making sure we're covering all the options right now, because I don't want to push it down the road.
All right, Mr. Albright,
Notices have been being posted at the subject property as well.
but she's not there.
But the notices are being posted at the
Okay.
property.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Polsky. Our next item is related to Eastpointe Hearing Officer's order for demolition of the structure located at 24242 Melrose. Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Richard Albright appearing on behalf of the City of Eastpointe. This is the date and time set for a show cause hearing regarding the property located at 24242 Melrose in the City of Eastpointe. I'd like to have entered into the record several documents as exhibits. The first is notice of this evening's proceedings prepared by the City Attorney's Office dated September 22nd, 2017. The next document is a memorandum prepared by City Administration with a recommendation from Ms. Van Haren dated September 22nd, 2017, indicating what City Administration believes should happen with the subject property. Also, all of the other notices related to hearings in this case, along with the report and order of the hearing officer and the transcript from the prior hearing. I don't know if anybody for the subject, or any owner for the subject, there is a gentleman standing up, so it appears as if there is somebody here in the council chambers, but before he addresses the council, and Ms. Van Haren is present in the council chambers to answer any questions that the council may have.
Ms. Van Haren?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. We held a dangerous building hearing on this property on September of 2016. No one appeared at the hearing, and the hearing officer's report of December 30th, I said 2017, and that must have been 16, sorry. I see a typo in there. Recommended compliance with the vacant structure requirements and compliance with the violations within 30 days. The owner did obtain in February of this year permits to make the repairs. At the time of this writing, however, they had no inspections performed on the building permit. They did have, recently had plumbing inspections. I have spoken to the owner as of today, and we did perform a building inspection at the property today and approved the rough framing and approved it for drywall. So he expressed to me, the owner who is here tonight, that they were having a difficult time with the contractor getting work accomplished and was getting a lot of promises that weren't being fulfilled. At this point, we did do the inspection today. We're back on track, and I would recommend that we allow the owner the additional time to get the construction complete. And at the point of this, writing of this recommendation, I was looking, to have it certified as a vacant structure within 30 days, and I think we might want to extend that based on what the owner indicates to us.
Okay. Can you state your name, please?
Jake Modesto. I just want to apologize. This should not have gotten this far. Again, this has been a bad contract situation. I believe I purchased the property in 2015 with the full intent of remodeling it to rent. I do plan on owning it and then renting it out. There's no going to be resale of this. Again, it's really just an apology that I wish it didn't come to this. I've been on the contractor since September of last year to get this done for the compliance and all that. He billed me for it, didn't do it. I'm in a large, not a large sum for some people, but, a decent amount of half the amount. He just kind of walked all over it, and been on him constantly every day. Definitely show my phone, all the calls and text messages. He made it above my mom on calls. So, yeah, again, I apologize for this whole thing.
Council, do you have any questions?
I have one question. How long do you think you're going to need to get the structure?
So from my understanding, I need the building permits in order for it to be okay for a vacant structure. Is that correct?
That's right. So finalize the work that's in progress, and then we'll certify it as a vacant structure.
That closing out the building permit.
Building, plumbing, electrical,
Okay.
yeah, whatever permits are open.
Okay. So I believe that'd be 90 days. If he doesn't blow me off for another month.
Somebody want to make a motion?
And then that was, you're gonna have it certified as a vacant structure right now until you find someone to
Yeah,
rent it then?
correct.
Right.
And then I would get the rent certification and then go from there.
Okay. Just double checking.
Do you want to make the motion?
Sure, Madam Mayor, I'll motion for 24242 Melrose to give the owner 90 days to get the property certified as a vacant structure.
Support.
Move to support. Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
Councilmember Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good luck. One more sure cause hearing, and this is related to demolition order from the Eastpointe hearing officer for the structure located at 14928 Veronica, involving the occupants, the American Estate and Trust, and 5 Choices Limited. Mr. Albright.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. Richard Albright up here on behalf of the City of Eastpointe. This is the date and time set for a show cause hearing regarding the property located at 14928 Veronica. I'd like to have entered into the record several documents. The first is notice of this evening's proceedings prepared by the City Attorney's Office dated September 22nd, 2017. Also a recommendation from City Administration with a recommendation from Ms. Van Haren dated September 22nd, 2017. Pictures of the subject property as well as the yard, the report and order of the hearing officer, and the transcript from the dangerous building hearing, along with notices for the dangerous building hearing. Ms. Van Haren is present in the council chambers to answer any questions that the council may
Ms.
have.
Van Haren?
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. We held a dangerous building hearing on this property on February of 2017, with the hearing officer's report issued on April of 2017. They recommended 30 days to have the property re-inspected and certified as a rental property. The home is occupied, has daily water use. A rental inspection was done in May of 2017, resulting in a long list of violations, which are attached for your review. The rental certificate expired in, on March 30th of 2017. The property owner is American Estate and Trust for the benefit of Rebecca Lawhorn IRA, and they're out of Nevada. We've had no communication with them. They did have a property manager assigned who is no longer assigned to the property. That's part of the problem. We have no one to communicate with us on that property. We did a major trash cleanup in May, several grass cuttings this season. The owner purchased the property in January of 2015 and has not had it certified since their purchase. We recommend that the property is certified within 30 days or that the city take action to have the occupant vacate the property.
Who removed the trash?
Public Works.
So they did go into the house and clean the
Oh, I'm sorry, no, the trash was at the curb. So somebody emptied out the trash, put it at the curb, and then it sat there until we went and cleaned it up. But now someone is living in there again.
Somebody is living there now?
Yeah, well, and I suspect that, yes, there is, the home is occupied, there's daily water usage now. I suspect that somebody either moved out or just did a major cleaning, which is why there's all this trash was at the curb. So we don't know if it's the same occupant or new occupants. Often when you see that much at the curb, it's because someone's moved out of the house.
So what is your wish?
I wish to see it certified as a rental property within 30 days, or that we take action to have the home vacated. And I say that because I don't know that it's in such poor condition that I would recommend demolition, but I don't think it should be occupied.
And you've not been able to establish any contact with American Estate and Trust, which is out
No,
of state?
we have not.
And then who was the 5 choices? Elsie, was that the old property management?
That's right.
Okay.
All right, council, anyone, is there anyone in the audience representing this property?
All right, then, Madam Mayor, I'll motion for 14928 Veronica that the occupants vacate within 30 days, or we evict if not certified as a rental property.
Support?
Could I ask Mr. Albright how that proceeding might go forward? I know we've discussed declaring a property unfit to be inhabited, but
Property would be posted by city administration with a sign indicating that the property is not to be occupied. And I know that when the city has posted those signs before, it's proved to be effective.
okay.
Someone want to make a motion? You have the motion?
Yep. Motion and second.
All right, please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
Councilmember Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes. All right, that is the end of the show cause. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment of the show cause.
So moved?
Support?
Please call the roll.
Councilmember DeMonico?
Yes.
Councilmember Kleinfeld?
Yes.
Mayor Pixley?
Yes.
Councilmember Lucido?
Yes.
Meeting's adjourned at